Hello. This time, I would like to introduce Soshin Kanatake's book, Zen-like Way of Life Without Possessions. Hello, everyone. Suddenly, we are now living surrounded by many things, aren't we? We can easily get what we want, and it might seem very abundant. But do you ever feel that your heart isn't quite full, or that you feel a sense of restriction instead? This book offers many hints for re-examining our modern way of life through the lens of Zen philosophy. The author of this book, Soshin Kanatake, is the head priest of Koto-in Temple, a historic temple of the Rinzai school of Zen Buddhism in Kyoto, within the Daitoku-ji branch. Kanatake-san entered the Buddhist priesthood at the young age of 12. The catalyst, he says, was reading a book about the famous Ikkyu-san. He was deeply impressed by the words enlightenment is not about learning, and he strongly wished to train at Daitoku-ji Temple in Kyoto, where Ikkyu-san had trained. For 20 years after entering the priesthood, Kanatake-san underwent strict training. He spent the first 10 years as a Kozo, temple acolyte, attending school while also doing chores at the temple. After graduating from university, he spent another 10 years living the life of a full-fledged Unsui, Zen training monk. This Unsui training was particularly strict. He reportedly lived a simple and disciplined life, waking up at 3:30 every morning to practice zazen, seated meditation, going out for takuhatsu, alms gathering, and doing samu, work practice, such as farming and woodcutting. He says that through this training, he developed a strong mental resilience, the ability to live no matter what happens. Currently, as a head priest, Kanatake-san not only holds zazen and shakyo, sutra copying, sessions at the temple but also works as a kyokaishi, chaplain, and hogoshi, probation officer, providing guidance to inmates in prisons and assisting those who have been released. He says this is because he believes that people can truly change their hearts and transform. From such experiences, I feel that he is someone who has thought deeply about people's inner lives and ways of living. Now, one of the main things Kanatake-san wants to convey in this book is the challenge of modern society where, paradoxically, the more materially wealthy we become, the poorer our hearts can feel. When we are surrounded by an abundance of things, we tend to feel that having things is natural, and as a result, shichaku, attachment, which is a cause of mental disturbance, increases. In Zen philosophy, having things is considered shichaku itself. Therefore, the book teaches that by having fewer things, the mind becomes calmer, and one feels happier. Kanatake-san introduces the life without possessions specifically by giving examples from his own training days at the temple. For example, nothing is placed at the entrance, and there are only 3 pairs of shoes. There is no dish cupboard in the kitchen, and Zen monks have their own personal stackable bowls called jihatsu, or yogi. After meals, they reportedly clean them not with detergent but by wiping them with pickled radishes, dakuwan. Meals are also considered a precious time for training, with gratitude for each item consumed. There is no toilet paper in the restroom, one only brings the amount needed. Sleeping is done in the main hall on a tatami mat area of 1 jo, approximately 1.65 square meters, using a unique single futon called the kashiwa futon, designed to be put away quickly. Clothing is minimal, mended when torn, and eventually used as rags, showing how things are used thoroughly and without waste. While such a life may sound very strict, Kanatake-san says he realized that precisely because there was nothing, the ability to be resourceful emerged, a feeling of gratitude arose for things that are usually taken for granted, and above all, living with a certain degree of constraint is actually easier in life and leads to a more stable mind. This is because too much freedom can easily lead to a disordered life. So, how can we also incorporate the life without possessions? First, be aware that having things is shichaku, attachment. And, don't think that having things is natural. Also, enjoy the ingenuity of substituting with something else if something is not available. For example, if throwing things away immediately is difficult, he suggests good methods include recycling, asking yourself for each item, is this really necessary now? Starting with small items to discard, or setting a time each day to discard things little by little to make it a habit. Furthermore, this book offers hints for a life without possessions not just concerning things, but also our minds and relationships. For example, how to face feelings of comparing oneself to others or feelings of anxiety. Knowing and accepting one's own shortcomings and strengths is important, and diligently focusing on the task at hand in the place where you are, explained with the Zen phrase Zui Shoni Shuto Nareba, Rish Shomina Makoto Nari, wherever you are, become the master, and that place is the true place, leads to clearing one's mind. Zazen, seated meditation, is considered effective for clearing the mind, but if that is difficult, simple things like deep breathing, taking a bath, or cleaning one's surroundings are also said to be effective. In particular, cleaning is considered in Zen to be the same as polishing the mind. Regarding relationships, the book says good balance is good, meaning that having many friends is not what's important, but rather cultivating relationships with people who are a positive influence on you is crucial. And, instead of getting tired from comparing yourself to others on SNS, find a way of interacting that suits you. Also, just as the word ningen, human, is written with characters meaning between people, humans cannot live alone. It teaches that instead of being dependent on someone, self-reliance where one can spend fulfilling time alone is important, and that life is something lived in connection with others. In relationships with people you genuinely find difficult, instead of trying to change the other person, it is important to first change your own mind and way of thinking. And in the end of this book, Kanatake-san conveys the most important message, which is the desire for people to realize that happiness is not outside of oneself, but within one's own heart. We tend to seek happiness in things or in others, but true happiness is something that lies within ourselves. And to realize that happiness, he concludes, it is important to know oneself well, cherish one's own values, and face the question of what is truly necessary for one's own life. Reading this book will surely bring many new discoveries about the amount of things we took for granted, our daily lives, and how we face our own minds. Without overthinking it, the book is filled with hints that make you think, maybe I'll try this. If you are feeling a certain difficulty in living right now, this book might be a good opportunity for you to find your own truly important things and live a calm and abundant life. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and give it a high rating. See you in the next video. May your life be better.